Hi, welcome to Airplay 2020. As Rachel, our wonderful producer, said, we're doing a special installment of Determined Women. Once a month, we focus on women that are determined successes in the American theater. And we're not just American, global theater, because we're global today, right? That was the wonderful music of Joe Eisen with our theme music, Watching the Curtain Fall. And that's what we do here. We do plays, we look behind the scenes. And today we have a very special guest. I'm going to let Brandy introduce her.
All right, well, today we have Joan Kane, who is the founding artistic director of Ego Actus, who in 2016 was awarded the Best Director of the United Solo Festival for her work on 6 different pieces. In total, her shows have been nominated for 61 awards, winning 21. Her work has been seen on stages in Oslo, Prague, and at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, including 6 Characters in Search of an Author, Kafka's Belinda, and Safe, respectively. She's an MFA graduate from the New School and an MS graduate from Bank Street College. She started her career as an actress. She's been a teaching artist, a staff developer, and an adjunct professor at Fordham University. So, welcome, Joan.
Thank you. So good to be here talking to everybody.
Wonderful to have you here, Joan. You are one of my favorite people ever. And in the theater, you always meet people that either you can help or they can help you, or they're magical. And you are one of those magical people. I remember the day we met, we were at a league meeting, League for Professional Women in Theater, and you said, "Do I know you? How come I don't know you?" And it just lit me up. And then I still remember the first meeting in a coffee shop, in a bakery, and we started talking, and that's when we did our first project. But you have the light, and when you share that light, you light other people up, and that's the magic of the arts, right? So Joan has something very, very exciting to talk to us about. She has a new reading series, and I am just so turned on by the title of it. Tell me the title again.
It's called Survival is Insufficient. And I can talk a little bit about it and how it came about.
Sure.
We've all been stuck in this pandemic and, dealing with all the shutdowns and the isolation and the fact that as artists we can't do our work the way we used to. So one day I was sitting and I was thinking, damn, I kind of do my work. I can't just sit here anymore. So I said, what are the tools that I have at my fingertips? What can I use? I said, I have playwrights, I have actors, I have directors, and I have Zoom. and so I put together this reading series based on Survival is Insufficient is the title. And what that means is that it's not enough to survive this pandemic. We also have to thrive. And the way we do that is by sharing a common humanity. And I believe the theater does that by telling stories. We tell stories to each other. And we realize a lot of the time that we have very shared goals and dreams and aspirations and experiences. And those universal experiences, those universal goals, bring us together as isolate us. So that was basically what I did. I just decided to do it, and here it is. So it started the beginning of October. It's every Tuesday except for tonight, Election Day. I I knew we weren't going to be paying attention to anything but that election. So we're not having it tonight, but it goes until mid-December. It's 7:30 at night, and if you want to come, you're welcome to. It's free. All the actors, all the artists are volunteering their time. Um, and if you go to Ego Actus, EGOACTUS, our website, you can sign up. You can also sign up for our newsletter, so you'll see what we're into, what we're doing. We send that out every week on Sundays to remind you that we have a reading series coming up. What was exciting about this was that one of the authors, Glenn Alterman, who is notorious for all the monologues he's written. I think he's like in the book of records, the Guinness Book of Records for the most monologues written by one author.
That's exciting. Well, how many? Do you have any idea?
I don't know the number, but he's in the Guinness Book of Records. That's all I know. And I've directed a couple of Glenn's shorter pieces, and he doesn't write long plays, or he says he doesn't. He only writes short pieces. So I was talking to him about this, and he said, "No, Joan, I don't have anything that I can contribute because I don't write long plays." And I said, "Come on, Glenn, go into your drawer. I'm sure you have a long piece." And he did. It's called Nobody's Flood. And so what happened was he did the reading. We did the reading. It was very successful. But it was really successful in the sense that a publisher afterwards came to him and asked him to publish the piece.
Oh, wow.
Heur, Heur, publisher.
Okay.
And Netflix was there and at the reading. And so now he has an option, Netflix has an option to take this play and to make a movie out of it, to make a Netflix film out of it. So you never know. For me, what this is it's very exciting because it's artists like thriving. That's how we thrive, is by supporting each other and working together. So I'm very excited about that.
Cool. Very cool. Now, how did you, are you doing longer plays, shorter plays? What's it about?
They're all long plays.
Oh, okay.
They're all full-length plays except for Joan Lipkin, and she's doing 4, 10, 15-minute plays.
Okay.
And I'm not directing all of them. I'm only directing 3 of them.
Okay. Only 3.
Only 3 out of the 10. And I'm acting in a couple of them. So I'm just excited to be doing this. I'm excited to be out of isolation and to be in the Zoom room with fellow artists.
It's exciting. In the Zoom room, I just did the Playbill Virtual Theater Festival, and they asked us, and almost hands down, all the authors and the directors, playwrights, and actors and directors, everybody hands down said they just missed going to the theater. They missed being each other. And so though you're in a Zoom room studio, it's still something. It's something, it's a way to connect. And we need that. And we also know right now, I think, that we need to be doing this.
Yes.
Talking about that, tell us a little bit about you, because I recently, last year, saw you in a wonderful performance of a piece that you wrote yourself. You're just a phenomenal actor. You're a phenomenal writer. You're a phenomenal director. How do you keep those worlds separate? And what's your favorite area?
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you got to see it. It's that particular play, Almost 13, it was written when I was at the La Mama writing workshop in Umbria, Italy. You go there for 2 weeks and all you do is write. And the leader of that workshop was Brendan Jacob Jenkins, who's generous and supportive. And I'm not really a writer, though I've written a couple of plays. You're the writer, Connie. I'm more of a director. But this was a story I needed to tell. It was my story, and I really had to tell it. And I had to tell it because it's a story about healing. It's a story about being broken, and because you're broken doesn't mean that you can't go on with your life.
Exactly.
So I had written that play for 14 characters, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to produce it. I knew I wouldn't get it produced. It's just too big, too many locations. All of the stuff that we're all told is too much. And so I wrote it as a one-person drama.
It was fabulous.
And I was looking for other people to perform it, other actors, and I was going to direct it. but I kept on like saying, no, no, I want to tell it. That kept on, that little voice in my head. So I contacted Austin Pendleton, and Austin said, yeah, I'll do this. And then he got a job at Steppenwolf, and he said, Joan, I can't direct it. I'm like, damn. So then I looked at Bruce, and I'm like, hey, dude, you want to direct a play? And he did. And he said, yeah, okay. And I've worked on with Bruce for 40 years. As you know, we're married for 40 years, but we've also been theater artists together. We run Ego Actus together and produce. And so it was a perfect fit. And he was hard on me. He
Oh,
was like,
you know, it's probably the hardest animal to produce, to direct, is a one-woman show written by the actor, you know, and then have somebody direct it. And I remember I used to have a women's theater company, and this woman did this for her. She did a play called Mrs. Shakespeare, and I needed something for Women's History Month. And I got, she just had this play, Mrs. Shakespeare, and her director was there with her from her project, from her MFA project, and it was just seamless. You know, when you get it right, you get it right. And that piece that you did, what was the name of Almost 13?
Almost 13. Well, it's interesting. For me, I've directed a lot of one-person shows, and a lot of the shows have been people's own stories.
Yeah.
So helping other people write them. So I had all those skills attached. It was just about getting the courage. It was about saying, yeah, I can tell this, and this is my story. And I'll tell you, telling that story was very recuperative for me. It was very healing. I was able to heal many relationships, not many, a couple of relationships that I had that I hadn't been able to rectify in any way. I had always been really like my relationship with my mother. And that I played her. And by playing her, I got to see her in this very difficult situation. My brother and I, we were both latchkey kids. My mother worked 2 jobs, and I was always angry with her because she was never around and never supporting me.
Yeah.
Getting to play her, I understood now why. It was a very good experience for me. We were going to take it to Edinburgh this past summer, but COVID happened, so we can't.
Yeah.
So I am looking for other places that I can perform it. We have to see what happens with the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Part of it.
To always bring it, or a part of it, or whatever you'd like on airplay. We always support you. You know that.
Thank you.
Speaking of latchkey kids, and speaking of COVID, what do you think? I mean, just think about this. What are these kids going to be like? I mean, what do you know, our kids today are the audiences of tomorrow. So, as theater artists, what are you thinking? What are you thinking we need to be doing? What do you think we should be looking at, focusing on in terms of understanding what's coming next? You know, I have this vision that this is the turn of the century, and we're like the golden age again. You know, this is like the Greek golden age, and you know, we have all this new technology, and we have, you know.
Well, I think that children learn experientially. You know, one of my major job was an educator and a staff developer way back when, and I think I really do believe kids learn through experiences. Yeah, they can pass these tests and have great test scores, but do they build knowledge? And I think that we as theater artists have to help them to build knowledge. So I haven't written a curriculum. I haven't seen any curriculums for, because I'm really not doing that anymore. I'm really not educating anymore. Mm-hmm. But I am aware of the fact that I think it's really important that we give them experiences, whether it's writing plays, whether it's acting in the plays, whether it's, and you could do that through Zoom. It doesn't have to be just in person.
Right.
So I think everybody's going to, after the pandemic, be very hungry.
Yeah.
Hungry for the arts.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think we need, like you said, words can heal. And I think everybody's going to be a little still creeped out, you know, still kind of, you're right, hungry is the word, you know. And I think that, you know, it's going to be a very, you know, just a strange world that we're living in right now. But the power of the arts does heal, and that's what our next steps are. Tell us a
Yeah.
little about your company, Ego Actus. How did that start, and what's that about? I know a little bit about it. I've read a little bit about it, and I've worked with you a little bit. So, but tell our public.
Well, ego actus is Latin for my way. It means my way. I come to the process of creating my own way, and everybody comes to the process creating their section of the art, their element of the art, their own way. So a designer will come the way they create to a production I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Actors have different ways, they have different techniques of creating. So we try and create a room where everybody can do that, where everybody can come with however they do what they do. Because if you let people do what they do, then they're going to do it the best way they can do it. You know, they have, feeling comfortable, feeling secure in what they do. So anyway, I was at La Mama in the directing symposium. They have a writing workshop, and then they have a directing symposium. And the directing symposium is about 3 weeks long, and it's in Umbria in Italy. Mm-hmm. So you're not in New York. There's nobody distracting you. You don't have to worry about taking care of your kids or earning a buck or cleaning your house. They do everything for you. They cook these delicious meals by Luis, the cook that they have there, who's wonderful. And they clean your house, and all you do is study theater, directing. Wow. They have different workshop leaders. So, and Ellen, when I went there, Ellen was still alive, and she could feel people. She had this really power of feeling you.
I met her once. She is a very powerful woman.
Yeah, she used to produce plays of authors that she hadn't written their play. She hadn't read their play. She felt something about that author, and she would then produce their play, like Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you get to talk to Ellen, and I got to talk to Ellen, and she had a personal conference with me, and she was feeling my frustration because I was having a really hard time getting hired as a director. I was sending out resumes, and I just wasn't getting hired. And she looked at me and she said, "Why are you asking other people permission to do your work? Paint your own door and open it."
Nice. Wonderful metaphor.
And I went, "Oh, yeah, that's a great metaphor." So I literally called Bruce up and I said, "We're going to start a theater company." And he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because that's what we have to do. Ellen told me that I have to do this, so I'm doing it." And that was 11 years ago. And it's been 11 years. We've produced 52 shows.
Wow.
Freestanding in festivals, overseas, here in New York City. We did take one show to Pennsylvania, in the Pennsylvania Fringe Festival, but mostly we're in Manhattan or overseas. And it's been the most exciting experience. It's been the best experience of my life, actually, in terms of creating art. I think I feel really successful. I know I feel really successful because I get to create art on my terms.
Very.
I'm not commercial. We're not a commercial. We're independent. Mm-hmm. We're not off Broadway. We're independent theater producers and artists. And what that means is that we are independent of anybody telling us what to do. We can do what we want.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
Because when you do that, that lets your spirit fly. So often, it's the old art teacher syndrome where make a tree, it needs to look like this. Draw an apple, it needs to look like this. Okay, this is a person. And that's where we have our stereotypes come from, right? Preconceived ideas. And that's what's wrong with all the conditioning in our society today. So I think that's the biggest problem. When you start putting art in a plain brown wrapper to decide what it should be. It can't be that way.
Yeah.
You make a flower? Can I make a flower? No, a flower grows. And that's the creative process. So tell us your favorite experience in Ego Actus, your favorite play, and why.
Oh, wow. I don't have favorites. It's like asking a mom who her favorite child is, what child she loves the most.
favorite experience? Like, what was the something that stays out in your mind?
Well, almost 13, doing my one-woman show was something that really stays in my mind. But also taking a show called What Do You Mean to Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And Bruce had written this play. It's a meta theater play. It's it's basically a play about an author who's been accepted to perform his play, to have his play performed in a theater festival, but he hasn't written it yet. So all these experienced, it's very crazy, it's very funny.
Oh,
All
cool.
the experienced theater artists, the director, the producer, the designer, the intern who knows the most of all of them, come and help him write his play. And it's wacky, it breaks the fourth wall, it's fast paced. And what was amazing about that is we had the Edinburgh, the major Edinburgh newspaper come and film a part of us
Neat.
doing a play. And we got great reviews. But it was so much fun to take this cast and stage manager and myself and Bruce, the writer producer, over to Edinburgh and perform. I think it was 27 performances we had.
Oh, wow.
It was just so much fun.
Well, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
that stands out to me. That's one of the major things that I'm really just had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing.
Very, very cool, Joan.
Yeah.
Hey, so survival is insufficient.
Yes.
Tuesday nights at 7
It's 7:30 on Tuesday nights until the mid-December.
till mid-December.
Every Tuesday. And I'll tell you one other thing to answer that question, Connie, because your play, Garrett the Blue Giraffe, was not part of Ego Actus, but it's one of my favorite experiences.
Oh, thanks. That was a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Very wonderful experience. And it also carved a niche in reality and propelled me forward. Because if you remember one of our actresses, Puya Maseni,
Yeah.
she went through a transformation herself. And
Yeah.
she said that it was the play that brought that out. So
Yeah.
you know what I love about theater, when reality crosses into art and art crosses back into reality, and you don't know where the heck you are, but maybe you're dreaming, maybe you're not. I don't
And
know.
actually, it was interesting because Pulia said that was the play where she announced that she was transgender.
Yes.
And then I actually directed her, I think, the following year
Mm-hmm.
in the United Solo Festival called One Woman, a play by Cecilia Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
And that got rave reviews also. So
Oh,
it's all intertwined. People working with each other are intertwined. Yeah,
all we have to do is love, you know?
I agree.
Sandbox, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe our world will change today. I don't know. Brandy, my co-host. Where are you, Brandy?
I'm here.
Okay, Brandy. Well, you look lovely there, Brandy. Look at you. I think,
Love the tiara.
like,
Thanks.
do you have any other questions for Joan?
Well, it was wonderful hearing you speak, first of all. I love basically everything you've said and related to it so much. But for our listeners and for anyone else, if they want to get involved either as actors or as an audience, how would they go about doing that with your new series coming up?
Well, our series, we have everybody involved in that, but we're probably going to be doing the same series starting next February. We have to see what's going on, as I said, with the pandemic. But if you go to egoactus.com, you can see there's a sign up for the newsletter.
Okay.
And you could, and also that's our website. You can see what we're doing, how we're doing it, and if you want to send us a picture and resume or a letter or whatever, a play, you can send it to egoactus@gmail.com.
Excellent.
egoactus.com is the website, and then it's egoactus@gmail.com. And we're always working with young people. We always work with people who don't have like all these credits, because that's not what it's about for us. It's about, hey, how can we get together as artists and work together?
Absolutely. Okay, before you leave, I'm going to ask you one semi-personal question. Why are you an artist? I think you've already answered it, but just for inspiration for upcoming artists? And you said you work with young people.
I've always been an artist my whole life. Now I'm really owning it. I'm really saying, yeah, I am an artist. And I think to be an artist, you have to have a lot of guts and a lot of bravery. I like to tell stories because I think stories, as I said before, show us our shared humanity. They also create this sense of why we're here. I'm here. I was born to be on this earth, to create, to hold a mirror up to society with the productions that I produce and direct and say, hey guys, look at us. Look at who we are. And sometimes people will walk out. A lot of the time people walk out and they have conversations. Or what we do in our companies, we have also talkbacks. They always, push in a talkback of some sort. So for me, it's about teaching. For me, it's about like opening up a world and like saying, here, I'm gonna splash some water on you. Let's have a conversation.
Exactly. I feel like at the beginning, you just have such excitement for life, and it's wonderful. It's contagious. Like I said, the day we met, I met you, and it was exciting. And you said to me, how come I don't know you? And I thought to myself, there's somebody who walks the talk, because we all talk about making the world a better place and doing this and that. And it's like, she's the real deal. So thank you very much, Joan. Good luck with Tuesdays.
And it's been great talking with you, Connie, and Rachel. It's been nice to meet you, and I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Absolutely, we're honored. Thank you so much. Determined Women, Joan Kane. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.